Canoes offer endless opportunities to view and enjoy the outdoors. Big lakes, day trips, bird watching, fishing. It's all possible once you begin to paddle. The sport is great for individuals or for the whole family. Welcome to the world of canoeing. With a little bit of instruction and some practice, you'll be well on your way to a lifetime of enjoyment. Canoeing can be a fun and rewarding activity if common sense prevails and certain precautions are taken. These precautions begin when you choose the route for the day and the group you will paddle with. As a beginner, the best place to practice the skills in this video is on a sheltered lake with other experienced paddlers. A good rule to follow is to have at least 2 boats in the water at all times. It's a good idea to be comfortable swimming in the water because these boats occasionally flip. The next step of preparation starts when you dress for the trip. Cold water and hypothermia are obvious threats on cold, nasty days. But even good weather days can be deceptive. So check the water temperature and dress accordingly. Even on a warm, sunny day, one brief error can immerse you in frigid water and lower your body temperature. With chilly weather or water, you'll want a little extra protection, such as a paddling jacket. If the air temperature and the water temperature combined are less than 120 degrees, that calls for extra protection, such as a wetsuit. Warmer temperatures call for quick-drying fabrics that provide sun protection. Since weather can change quickly, cotton is not ideal, since it will cool you off when wet. Store your extra warm clothes in a waterproof bag for easy access. Don't underestimate the dangers of hypothermia. To round out your comfort, don't forget a hat, sunscreen, sunglasses, water, and snacks. Drinking lots of water will help protect you from both heat and cold. Proper equipment is essential for paddling. Your personal flotation device, or PFD, should fit you tightly. Fasten your PFD, then test the fit by tugging up at the shoulders. If the shoulder straps go over your ears, then it's too loose or improperly sized. Tighten the straps to the appropriate fit. A PFD that comes off is no help, so keep your PFD on and securely fastened at all times. Footwear that will stay on your feet to protect you from sharp rocks, broken glass, and other debris is also important. It's handy to know a few different parts of the boat, such as the seats and the thwarts, which help provide structure to the boat, and the gunnels, which span end to end. Canoes come in a variety of shapes and sizes, but they all share similar characteristics. The front of the boat is called the bow, and the back is the stern. The bow paddler provides the power and pacing, and makes quick decisions about the route. The bow paddler has to communicate direction changes to the stern paddler, either by leading with strokes, pointing, or speaking. Often good communication requires face-to-face contact. At times, it may be most effective to turn around to speak to or to hear your stern partner. Let's head over that way a bit. The stern paddler is responsible for keeping the general direction and also for providing power. How about we go up that way, and then when we get close to the rock, I'll do some quick corrections. The paddle is obviously important to propel you. The parts of the paddle include the blade, the shaft, and the grip. Your T-grip and thumb direction indicate the blade angle, and that's a strong indicator as to how effectively you are doing each stroke. Getting your boat safely to the water is the first skill of paddling. Tie your boat down firmly at each end and with straps over the middle. When carrying your canoe, use your legs to lift and avoid straining your back. Don't be afraid to ask for help carrying your boat. The most common carry is the suitcase method. To launch your boat in deep water, get positioned facing the same direction as the canoe. Using 3 points of contact, grab the gunnels and step into the middle of the boat. Balance your weight and bring the other foot inside. Maneuver to your position. It's best to have good trim, with the boat balanced end to end. If either end is too high, control can be very difficult. In a canoe, you sit for comfort and kneel for additional control and stability. A quick reminder is while you are paddling, don't grab the gunnel unless you want to flip. Paddling a canoe is easy. It all starts with good balance. Loosen up your hips and get a feel for the boat's stability. You'll want to wrap one hand around the top of the grip and then hold your hands a little more than shoulder width apart. If you paddle on opposite sides of the boat, you'll have the best control. The forward stroke involves sitting up tall in your boat, rotating your shoulders to get a good reach, and with relatively straight arms, unwinding the body to pull the boat past the blade. Take the blade out of the water as it reaches your hips. If both paddlers stroke at the same time, the boat will move more easily. Too often paddlers use their arms for all their power. The result is tired arms and ineffective strokes. Rotation uses larger muscles to give you extra power on a long day of paddling. There are 2 proven techniques for steering a boat and paddling forward, each effective in different situations. The sit and switch technique is used for paddling long distances. When the boat begins to veer, both paddlers switch sides and continue paddling. For the sit and switch technique, the paddlers typically take 6 to 8 strokes before one paddler calls out hut. The paddlers complete the stroke they are doing and switch hands before the next stroke. Watch for a moment. Marathon racers and others going long distances use this switching style with bent shaft paddles for a fast and effective means of travel. If the paddlers do not switch sides, the boat will naturally veer. For paddling shorter distances, and in places requiring tighter maneuvering, the stern paddler uses strokes similar to ruddering to provide the correction. Paddlers rarely switch sides of the boat with this technique. There are actually 2 steering strokes the stern paddler has to learn: the stern draw and the stern pry. With both strokes, the shaft is horizontal and the T-grip thumb is pointing straight up. The stern pry is a short 6-inch jab out from the stern of the boat. This is a short, powerful stroke. Keep the T-grip vertical and start with the blade plastered against the boat. This is really nothing more than an active rudder, so people tend to pick it up quickly. Be careful not to turn it into a stopping stroke. The stern draw sweeps a 2 or 3 foot arc in towards the back of the boat. Rotate your torso, arm, and paddle as a unit for good power. Watching the blade seems to help get the torso involved. The priority for the stern paddler is to steer using the stern pry and stern draw. This requires looking ahead to the destination target to get early clues when the boat goes off course. When the boat is on track, the stern paddler adds power to help the bow paddler propel the boat. The bow paddler also has just 2 turning strokes to learn. The draw, to move their end of the boat to their paddle side, and the crossbow draw, to move their end of the boat the other direction. The draw stroke has a vertical shaft with the T-grip parallel to the boat. Pull the paddle straight towards your hips. Rotate to face your work. Twist the blade to feather the blade out for the next stroke. With the crossbow draw, the bow paddler tucks the T-grip elbow into the body and swings the paddle to the opposite side of the boat. The T-grip thumb points up. Pull the blade towards the boat, taking it out before it hits the boat. The crossbow draw is slightly tricky. Watch again how the T-grip elbow tucks tightly against the body throughout the stroke. Once you get it, it's a fun, powerful stroke to do. With these strokes, the tandem team can turn in any direction. You can practice the basic motion of these strokes while in the boat on solid ground. A friend can help from the bow, nudging the boat so you can feel the effect of your strokes. Once each paddler has their strokes mastered, it's time for an exercise in quick decision-making. Wait for the signal, then turn your boat in the indicated direction. Reverse paddling complements your other strokes and is important for slowing down and stopping. Without changing your grip, use the back of the blade and push forward from your hip to your knees, keeping the blade close to the boat. The shaft is vertical and the T-grip perpendicular to the boat. All these strokes require practice to master. Once each paddler has the basic skills, it's fun to put it all together with your partner. Remember, in the stern, the boat direction is the priority. When you're learning to paddle in the stern, you might spend most of your time correcting with stern draws and stern pries to keep the boat on line. Once you get the feel and your corrections are more subtle, you can concentrate on power and following the cadence of the bow paddler. To develop a comfortable style of your own, get out and enjoy some paddling. When you're ready, you can paddle a canoe solo. It's harder since you have to provide the power and the control. Canoe paddling is an art. Using the strokes you have learned, practice these maneuvers. Forward. Paddle forward with the boat moving in a straight line towards a target. Remember, the stern paddler controls the general direction. Stopping. Use reverse strokes to stop the boat in time. Spinning. You'll discover that the combination of a crossbow draw and a stern pry will spin your boat one direction. And if both paddlers do draws, they'll spin you the other way. Turning while moving forward. Practice making a quick decision and learning which combination of strokes will turn you the right way. Moving a boat sideways. This is a good move. Practice which combination of strokes will move your boat smoothly sideways. Simply having enough boats on the lake together is not adequate for safety. Your group should stay close enough together to be able to hear without having to yell, but far enough apart to avoid collision. When you're out paddling, be on the lookout for hazardous conditions like strong wind, intense weather, and big waves. Wind is the biggest threat to the canoeist. Wind can make it difficult to steer or to make progress. But that's not all it does. Wind usually generates waves, which create a whole new set of boat control problems, including staying upright. Smart canoeists watch the weather so they can predict and avoid the wind. In some areas, you may be tempted by paddling on moving water. A river can have hidden hazards that are not readily apparent, so anything more than flat water should be tackled only with more training and skills. Even swimming in rivers requires different technique. You swim on your back with your feet up to avoid getting a foot trapped on the bottom of the river. Strainers, which are trees or single branches in the current, allow the water to flow through but stop and hold boats. This creates a severe pinning hazard, so it's a good idea to paddle towards the inside of a river bend away from the typical strainer location. Low-head dams and high water from flooded rivers are severe hazards which can kill and should always be avoided. If something goes wrong, keep in mind that people come first, before boats and gear. Rethrog may help you remember the rescue priorities. Reach, throw, row, go. Clearly, a rescuer should avoid getting into trouble themselves. Capsizing is part of the sport of canoeing. Paddlers must always be prepared to swim by dressing properly and wearing a PFD. Once in the water, hang on to your boat and paddle if possible. Wind and waves can easily separate you from your boat. Remain calm and breathe. If you're very close to shore, simply swim the boat in, or have a friend help tow you in. If you're further from shore, you'll be glad if your group can help you recover from a capsize with a boat-over-boat rescue. Line the capsized boat perpendicular to the rescue boat. Then the swimmers can help by pushing down so it's easy to lift the other end. The capsized boat is pulled onto the rescue boat to drain. Rescuers then flip the boat and slide it back into the water. While the rescue paddlers stabilize the boat, the swimmers re-enter. This graceful body flop is achieved by floating your body high on the surface, grabbing the thwarts and far gunwale, and by kicking to slither into the canoe. A stirrup of webbing can provide a helpful step to someone having trouble getting back into a boat. This parallel rescue is another quick way for a friend to assist you in getting the water out of your boat. A quick rescue helps you minimize your exposure to the elements. Water temperatures will often be quite cold, even in warm weather. Let's review some essential points. Good boating includes choosing the appropriate place to paddle, paddling with the group, fitting the PFD properly, checking the weather forecast to dress appropriately and to avoid wind and waves, and developing quality strokes and rescue skills. Most importantly, good boating includes knowing your skill level. You'll discover there's a world of paddling opportunities available. As you venture further into the sport, you'll want to learn more by reading, studying videos, and taking classes. Be humble in recognizing the limitations of your own experience, and seek further instruction with local paddle clubs or outfitters. During your boating trip, help preserve public access to the water. Respect private property rights and always use public access. You'll want to pick up any litter you see and leave no trace of your visit. And remember, boating is no time for alcohol use. By taking proper precautions, using sound judgment and common sense, you can have a great time boating. Be alert and have fun out there.